Tori, what you got?
Yeah, it sounds like silly news, but I am the I'm the new head girl soccer coach, and so I'm gonna be working closely with and I'll be in pain and things like that, like this. How to know when you can ask me later how to help with the lawsuit. But anyway,
YouTube videos, everything.
So anyway, it's exciting because I have wanted to start something for the Hispanic students at my school, like start like a club or like a help them celebrate Hispanic Awareness Month and stuff like that. But it's just me, and sometimes people frown upon it. But now it's like 3 people who are into like promoting Hispanics and stuff like that, and we're all 3 doing soccer. So it's amazing. I feel like it's a ministry maybe. I don't know.
That's awesome. Now I have a question.
Yes.
Have you ever kicked soccer?
I have never even watched the soccer the whole way through. Okay, thank you.
That's a
Prayers I need.
Tim Duncan didn't play ball till high school.
Oh, well, I'm like it's kind of bad.
Yeah, high school. Yeah. 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's God's movement. Good news. What's your aim of good news?
God has blessed me to be able to have like a really flexible schedule right now with my job, and so I've been able to take like 7 trips this summer. So I've had some great time with my family. We had a family reunion, and then after that we had St. Louis, and then I went to Detroit and Cincinnati, and so just like being able to
See the world.
hang with my family, which is huge, to see people I haven't seen in a long time. It's just been really great.
You look at anybody else? Good news. Give me good news. What you got? Can you do?
I'm in this program, and I have to go through all the steps, but they finally contacted me today, and they're going to pay for my course. And the rest of my tuition.
I call that great news. I'm like, there's a God. There's a light by now. That's what I'm talking about. Run, Kenny, run. Patricia, good news.
One of them may have already shared this, but a friend, we went out, hung out with one of her friends last week, and she said this last week actually wanted to share with her about the women's retreat, the Southeast Women's Retreat, and she wants to come.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's part she wants to
Awesome,
come.
that's awesome. Any more good news? Good news. That's all the good news in this lovely room. That's it. Anybody that want to share about St. Louis? Those that want? So let me call y'all by name.
Go first.
I got some stories though.
You need to go first. What happened?
Well,
No, I really, seriously though, St. Louis was amazing. I think the drive there was amazing, just the time to spend. Latoya. See, Latoya. And so that was great, but the thing about it was, I think just getting there and seeing all those people, even though it was not as big as if you went to San Antonio, it was not as big, but just to see everybody collectively still come together. And I think for me, the most amazing, I think it's so funny, people, if you have talked to me in the last month, I would tell you stories, and I'd be like, I don't know why I was at this place, but God had me at this place for a reason right now at this time. And I've met so many people this month because God just wanted me to be there at that particular time. And I think for me, it was just obvious things that God wanted me to see about myself, but also learn. The most impactful lesson that I heard was like the very first morning of the single session. And they had a brother and a sister share, and the sister got up and shared, and she was out of this ministry in Boston, and she shared about how she was doing so well spiritually, like things were going awesome. Her life as a disciple, she had been a disciple for like 15 to 20 years, and things went well, but then her mom passed away, and her life changed. And immediately, every emotion, feeling, thought came out her mouth was exactly how I felt in the last year, you know, with my father's death. And I knew God wanted me to particularly hear that. So it was really awesome. And then the whole time, like, I haven't seen my stepmom since my dad's funeral, or maybe like a week or 2 or 3 weeks. We went to Tallahassee to get some stuff, and we talk on the phone, but we haven't been down, and of course she hasn't been up. And she was like a person that I knew she would probably be there. We hadn't communicated, hey, are you coming?
Right.
But we saw each other, and it was like, oh, but then emotions, you know what I mean? Like it started to, like, just us being together and having conversations and things like that. It just shows how the grieving process is still going on. You know what I mean? And so I think for me, it just allows me to continue to have to trust God in every moment, but also as well know that God has me in certain places in life for a reason. And so it was amazing. Like, I think the trips, the classes, it was interesting. A lot of the classes were based on like emotional health and mental health and grief. I mean, it was some deep rooted classes that sometimes you're like, why am I in here, Lord? It's crazy, you know. But it was meant for us to hear about certain things. We went to a class on Saturday morning about, you know, leaky gut and leaky brain, you know, and why we do the things we do and how that affects you emotionally and mentally, and foods you eat.
That I would not expect.
Huh?
That wasn't about surprise.
I mean, it was like, what? So it's like about what you do,
That, but still,
like what you do mentally, what physically, and what you eat, and physically taking care of yourself, how that affects your mental brain. You're like, dang, this is crazy. But those are the kind of classes that we were able to experience, and it was amazing. So, yeah.
Keep that.
My first point is to keep up.
I mean, it was amazing though, because you never know the depths of it.
Well, there you go. Jamar, you taught this class.
Huh?
Hey,
Yeah, okay.
anybody else about St. Louis?
Oh, I just want to share a little bit. You okay. So,
I'm gonna face you about St. Louis.
huh? You gonna do it?
She wasn't there, but she got started.
Okay. Okay. That's you, boo. Okay, so, to think back on what she was saying, it was amazing because I haven't gone to like a big conference like that since I was like, and like she said, it wasn't as big as like CSA and stuff would be, but kind of sort of. I haven't been to a conference like that since I was a baby disciple, which was I think around 2002 or something. I've only gone to like singles and little Southeast and da-da-da. So it was amazing, mind-blowing because of the things that we've gone through here at the church and stuff like that. I was able to share, so that's the news, I was able to share with the Jackson Church because that's where I've been in Mississippi. And I saw them, the leaders of that church there, and then told them I was coming, so I got to share with them some of the things that was going on here, and it was an encouragement to them. But the whole conference has got me thinking about just spirituality. Yeah, Christianity, but spirituality as a holistic process, really including the mind, the body, just everything, how it all goes together. Kind of what you were saying not too long ago. And that's kind of like the focus of many of the classes that were there. And so I've gone and I've checked out this book online. It's like a audio book. And I'm like learning so much. And it makes me feel so much more, I don't know, so much more spiritual, in tune with God. Because it's not just about blah, 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 blah. And also, I got a better, I felt our brother, Jamal, encouraged us from afar. And this is his second time doing this. I just want to lift him up.
From afar.
From afar, you get a call. Hey sis, I heard y'all was up here from Chris Lucy. I ain't talked to Chris Lucy in 10 years. I didn't know he had my number. Yeah, somebody told us.
Chris is anybody's number.
You guys are here? Yeah, I just want to know if you want to go on a date, you know. So, not from him, but they like set us up on that head. Jamal has a very good heart, so I want to come up with whatever. From that, I had a great, you know, we had different types of experiences. But from that, I had like a great experience, just like reforming my mind as far as friendships, like getting to know people. people. Like, it ain't got to be outbound, don't be a good fan of my husband or whatever. But just friendships between brothers and sisters, it was amazing. So,
That's where it starts. Right?
Orlando, y'all need to come now.
Atlantis was off the chain.
It is.
This was the North American.
Caribbean.
San Antonio was worldwide. This was North American. Orlando was worldwide.
And Disney World. And Disney.
And Disney.
Nah.
That's an add-on.
That's 2 weeks
That's an
vacation.
add-on. Felicity.
I mean, I'll piggyback on everything they said, that it was incredible, and I think having gone to San Antonio, I wasn't, that was not one of my favorite conferences. I think it was overwhelming for me. It was just too much. But this was just like the amount of people and the classes, and St. Louis is a really cool city.
That's why I hear.
So that was part of the encouragement too, just because it was a really, really great city, so we were able to kind of, walk around, look at different things. The architecture is really pretty there. It was just beautiful. It was really beautiful. The weather was nice. It was supposed to rain every day that we were there, but it didn't. So, I mean, everything was just like Ginger said, from the time that we went, we got in the car, left, and came back, everything was just kind of just knew that God was involved in every detail. And there was specific things that I had prayed for, being a sister of a certain age, that God has really encouraged me about. So,
That's
but yeah,
good.
the classes were amazing.
So was the class on that?
I'm sorry.
I'm glad.
And I think Ginger said too, just learning things about myself, because, it was one thing to be at home and kind of in your routine.
Right.
You don't really see deeper character
Right.
flaws, but there were some things that God revealed to me that I needed to work on. And so I'm grateful for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 2 days at once, but I really can't do it. Well, that's great. I would ask you guys more, but that's good stuff. We're going to do something a little different for church. It's interesting this is the week that we're live streaming, because it's going to be something different to watch. I'm going to give you guys some passages to read. I'm going to divide you up into two teams. Okay? And what we're going to do is read those passages. And if you want to discuss more people that are reading it too, that's fine. But then I'm going to have, everybody's not going to read the same passages. So I'm going to have people that have read those passages you've read kind of share with the rest of us what you got. And it's a common theme in the passage that you read. Okay, so it's kind of what you got in general, but then what's the common theme in the scriptures they have to read? And they'll do the same. So share what scriptures they were. And I want to ask for scriptures that you're not reading to write down the ones you're not reading. You're reading at home. Does that make sense? Because it would be too long for all of us to read all the scriptures. But this is where we're kind of breaking up the knowledge. And then I'll do a little lesson, kind of tying it all together, hopefully. And that will work. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so these are the scriptures. I'm going to have from Anthony to the back wall be one group. Okay, so all you guys need to say is from Anthony's row to the back wall. And what you guys are going to read, I need 3 first. Man, I miscalculated. Okay, we'll do it this way. From Ginger's row to the back wall. With each other. Let's group them up, all right? So that last row to the back wall. And what you guys are going to read is some really obscure passages. Matthew 28, 18 to 20. Matthew 28, 18 to 20. Mark 16, 14 to 18. Matthew 28, 18 to 20. Mark 16, 14 to 18. And Acts 16, 14 to 34. Acts 16, 14 to 34. So those are the 3 passages you guys will read. Matthew 28, 18 to 20, Mark 16, 14 to 18, Acts 16, 14 to 34. That make sense? All right, so I'm going to have Abby, Anthony, and Shantae, and Jade read Acts 8, 25 to 40. The one passage that's pretty long. Acts 8, 25 to 40. Okay? All right. And then the first 2 rows, really the first 3 rows, minus Jade, is going to be 2 Corinthians, 1 Peter 5, 8 to 9. 1 Peter 5, 8 to 9. Revelation 12, 7 to 12. That's Revelation 12, 7 to 12. And then 2 Corinthians 11, 12. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 12 to 15. So first was 1 Peter 5, 8 to 9. Revelation 12, 7 to 12. 2 Corinthians 11, 12 to 15. Okay? Does that make sense? So read it. After you read it, if you want to discuss it with someone, you can. But I'm gonna break it, and then we're gonna have each row section kind of comment on what you want. Okay, that makes sense? All right, let's get started. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, 12 to 15. Ken, are you done in class already?
No.
Hey, tell them, it's like a dark.
I just don't. She got your pen up, That's Kim Burrow, but that ain't gonna- she'll take off in a minute.
That's gnarly.
Hey, Skip. Kids, I just with me, y'all. That's what she.
Y'all cover y'all face.
Anybody need more time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One way to dance with music. All right, so we're gonna start with team number 1 in the back. What's the I tell you what, we're gonna start with team number 3
All right.
in the front. What you got past that you read? Is there a common theme in those passages? And first, share with the class what you read, and then if you guys can take turns sharing what you got out of it, what you think is a common theme in it.
Read 1 Peter 5, 8-9. Revelations 12, 7-12. 2 Corinthians 11, 12-15. And the common theme was, I got it. That sin is crafty and unrighteous, and he seeks to devour all righteous.
Okay, anybody else? Anything they can learn from the passage that stands out to you? And what's the common theme? Group number 3.
Okay, yes. I don't know what she said this was.
No, that's right.
Well, basically, that Satan is here, and Satan is angry, and he is on earth to destroy you. Sometimes I forget that, I'm like, oh yeah, we got an enemy. God he's protecting us, but it's like, this is like when we read the part where it says he's filled with fury. I was like, oh my God, I don't know, that always shocks me back into reality. Okay, get yourself together, be like super straight, not lax in your thinking or lax in your spirituality or anything. Always be careful.
That's good. Okay, anybody else?
I think the scripture in 1 Peter really hit me because although he's angry and filled with fury and prowling around for someone to devour, we have the ability to resist him.
Yes.
And it talks about standing firm in the faith. And then the part about, that your family will suffer and is undergoing the same kind of suffering. That was encouraging me because sometimes when we're going through something like that.
Absolutely. That's good. Anybody else?
I have a thought. Verse 8, I'm sorry. Where it tells you to be separate from them.
It's good.
Because there are, we say the devil, like he prowls around and makes things happen to you, but you gotta be self-controlled and you gotta know who's doing this.
Yeah.
You know that God is not doing this thing that the devil is trying to destroy you with, And if you could think, you just keep your thoughts
So if you had to, this is open to everybody, this part here. If you had to describe a word or two to characterize the character or nature of the devil, what would you say? Either based on these passages or based on what you don't study before, how would you describe it? Or what's he like? It's cunning. It's crafty.
Deceitful.
Deceitful.
Destructive.
Charming.
Destructive.
Charming.
Yeah, that's 2 Corinthians 11, right? It's charming. It says he masquerades as an angel of light. It says in 2 Corinthians 11. Surprised you got the highlight. That was a highlight passage, right? Anything else? How about laid back? Is he laid back?
No, he's like his business.
How about, is it procrastinating?
No, none of that.
Is he,
Working all the time.
is he urgent or is he slow to make things happen?
He makes it happen all the time.
He's intentional.
He's intentional. He's successful. Okay.
Opportunist.
He's opportunist, yes. Put number 3. Share your passages and share what you got out of it, and what is a common thread in what you read. Put number 3 is in the back. We'll start with. Put number 1, sorry. Put number 1 on the back.
Well, our passages are Matthew 28, verse 18 through 20. And what within that passage what really stuck out to me was really right in the beginning. Jesus came to them and said, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." I think it's easy to skip over, for me to skip over that, and go straight to the passage about baptism, because it's like, hey, I don't know if I've had conversations with that and trying to prove to people that baptism is a part of salvation. But the fact that Jesus said all authority on heaven and on earth has been given to me, it's like he's saying, look, don't worry.
Okay, that's good.
Everything is under my control.
That's a great point. All right, so someone want to share what the 3 passages what you read. That's a great point, and what the insights were, and if it's a common thread. What were the 3 passages? That's 21. And what else?
Mark 16, 14 through 18, and Acts 16, 14 through 34.
Okay.
And the common thread that I got from it was just that it tells what you have to do to be saved,
Yeah.
to be baptized. Each one of them have the same thing.
Okay.
And the authority that Jesus gave in Matthew, it was just carried out in Mark and Acts. The people that said the same thing he did, he gave them that authority to do it, and you can see it. They just walked in it.
I think the common thing for me as I read it is just the faith that everyone had to, like, even maybe give them authority, just believing that this person it's kind of like when you think about the last moments when someone dies and they tell you something special and you have to believe it. It's like, do I believe you or do I trust you in that? But I got to trust you because I have faith in you to believe it. And I think in the rest of the themes of the next scripture, just how even in baptism, in the water, just having the faith to believe.
Okay. Anybody else?
That was it. Okay.
You walked up in Jen's paper?
Yeah.
I was cheating on the last one, but
I see what your game is, huh? Anybody want to highlight the two conversions in Luke 16? About Lydia and the jailer, right? Anything you guys got out there? Because you got the commands in Matthew 8 and Matthew 16, and then you had it played out in Luke 16. So what jumped out in terms of Lydia and the jailer?
Yeah, we didn't do Luke now.
Y'all didn't do Lydia?
We did.
We did Acts 16.
You said Acts 16.
Acts 16, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
No, you got it right. Acts 16, Lydia and jailer.
Yeah.
That's Luke and Lydia.
Oh, okay.
Acts 16. Y'all right? Y'all right? Y'all got that? Acts 16, what's it called?
14 to 34.
14 to 34.
It was quite a lot.
Y'all can handle it. Yeah.
I think the thing about for instance, the jailer part of it, just seeing, from the jailer standpoint, seeing these men that believe in God and seeing what happened, and him seeing their faith and acting on it, for him to, because if you look at it, all the prisoners broke free.
Yeah.
And what happened, everyone broke free. It's like, I'm about to kill myself to get this out, because I ain't gonna live, because you're accountable for the people you watch, and they got free, it's over. And for him to say somebody's locked up, that he chained up, saying don't harm yourself and everything's all right, that blew his mind to be able to change and be radical, to change, to take the dude home and get back to get his family safe on it. So it's really his faith, to seeing somebody else's faith and seeing how somebody can believe through someone else's faith.
Anybody else? Okay, number 2, you guys had Acts 8. You have one passage, 25 to 40. Any what jumped out at you, and then it's only one passage. So what's the theme under that passage?
I think the thing, like there were quite a few things that kind of stood out to me, but I think the important thing was during this time as the disciples were scattered, like God consistently sent his angel, his spirit, to be with the disciples. As they continuously shared their faith, preached the good news, they continuously preached about salvation no matter the pressure and adversity they were under. And so in the midst of that, you have the story of Philip, who met the Ethiopian eunuch who could have been doing anything else, especially with money, who was at the right place at the right time and just really had the heart of wanting to be saved. And as a result, he was. And, and then you see at the end again how in the midst of that, God's angel came again to Philip, who was obedient, who was in the right mind, and snatched him out of that situation and take him somewhere else to continue to, because I know for me, I'm like, oh, I had a victory today. Y'all I baptized somebody, and now I can go home and eat. But for him, he continued on. No, seriously. Emma, let me tell you something. You've been on the road all day. Don't first of all,
We with you, Sean.
Okay. Don't worry about them now.
Right. But he continued to share his faith. He's like, the work ain't done yet.
Right.
You had your 3-pointer, keep running. So the spirit was continuously with the disciples, and they continuously did the good things that God called them to do.
Right. It's good. That's great. Anybody else?
I think also the obedience of Philip and the eagerness too, because when God told him to go share, like the Spirit led him to go share with the eunuch, it said Philip ran up to the chariot. So it's like a lot of times you feel like God tells you to do something, you're literally dragging your feet, you find 30,000 other things to do before then. And even like Shantae shared, like once he got him baptized, it's kind of like you want to kind of bask in the glory, you kind of want to sit there, but he got swept away immediately, and I'm sure he went with the same eagerness to go share with other people as well.
That's good. That's good. Anthony.
Well, from the eunuch standpoint, I guess 2 things stood out. I don't know how far Ethiopia is from Jerusalem, but for him to, be devoted to leave just to go to Jerusalem to worship, and then just to come back, that really showed like a nice heart for God. But then, like when he was reading Isaiah, and then understand what he was reading, he was humble enough to ask him for help, help me understand what's going on. And he could have been like, I figured this out myself, and who knows what could have happened, but he probably changed other people's lives when he got back to Ethiopia.
Anybody else? Nothing.
Something that stood out about that passage about the Ethiopian going home. There's something different than our fellowship sometimes, that we feel that once somebody gets baptized and goes off the other way, that we kind of need to be responsible about what they do. But he was willing to plant the seed and move on and let God kind of work that out.
Right. Had to.
Yeah.
He had to. And God did work it out.
All right.
It's interesting, when all the missionaries traveled in Africa, there was one, when they colonized Africa, there was already one pre-existing Christian country, and that was Ethiopia.
Wow.
So So Ethiopia has been Christian since the time of the shortly after the
Wow.
Go on.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah. Let me ask you, we talked, we described Satan a little bit. So for Jesus, from the passages in Mark 16 and Mark 18, and 28, I'm sorry, Mark 16 and Matthew 28, if you had to describe his character from those passages, what would you describe? How would you give me a word or two to describe Jesus from those passages particularly?
You said from Mark 16?
And Matthew 28. If you had to describe his, we describe Satan, if you had to describe Jesus, how would you describe him? Confident. Yeah, it's all authority that was given to me. It's pretty confident.
That's powerful.
Powerful, yes. Sir. Anything else?
He knew who he was, like, he
Yeah.
knew, like, he had authority when
He had
he said
authority.
it, it was.
Anybody else?
Command.
Anybody? Is it good?
Exact detail, we told him what to do.
Exact detail. Anybody else?
I think you said, and the one Mark talked about, he rebuked them for the lack of faith.
Right.
You know, I think that was serious to him, because I've done all this stuff and you still don't believe.
Exactly right. So we're at the end. And
Yeah, you still ain't got
bad faith problems. Yeah.
So.
What about in the passage you guys read in Acts 8, Acts 16? There were some disciples, Philip, Paul, and Silas. How would you describe their character? How would you describe their character? Or how would you?
I think it's incredible the fact that, something that really stuck out was how the scripture said they were severely beaten.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that same night, they're singing hymns.
That's right.
And probably loud enough for other prisoners to hear them throughout the jail.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Anybody else?
Courageous.
Courageous, yeah. Were they focused or unfocused?
Focus.
Were they urgent or laid down? Let's go to the Acts 16. I know you guys feel like you're in school, so let me break the vibe. There won't be any report cards here. For tonight. But going back to the whole Philippian jailer situation, and to give the context of it, for those that didn't read the passage now, Paul and Silas get arrested for preaching the gospel. They get flogged and beaten for what they did, and they're put in jail. And rather, I don't know what you would do if you were thrown into a Philippian jail late at night and you were bleeding from a beating. But it says in verse 26, about midnight, and this is Acts 16, verse 26, it's in verse 25, I'm sorry. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. I guess they were amazed, right? They're like, who is crazy? Suddenly there was such a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaking. And at once all the prison doors flew open, and everyone's chains came loose. Okay, so everybody's released, right? The jailer woke up, and when he saw the prison doors open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself because he thought the prisoners had escaped. But Paul shouted, "Don't harm yourself. We are all here." Okay, he was going to kill himself because the penalty of losing the prisoners for a Roman guard would be death. He said, "Better you kill me than them to kill me," right? But not only did Paul and Silas stay and not flee, they made sure all the prisoners stayed, which is impressive. The jailer called for lights, rushed in and fell trembling before Paul and Silas. He then brought them out and asked, "Sirs, what must I do to be saved?" They replied, "Well, we can set up a study for next week." And then, if it's up to you, I've got things to do. Maybe we can get them 2 weeks after that. And you busy? I'm busy. Maybe we can get together a month after that. And maybe in about 6 months, if it fits our schedule, we can get you back there. Right. Is that how that worked out?
Wow.
No, this is it. They stayed right there. This is midnight. They've been beaten and they're bleeding. And they stayed up there and they said they preached the word of God to them. You know, this pastor said, he preached the word of God to him after that. When he was baptized, he went and got his family, his whole family was baptized. Right? And so, there are a couple of things. And read all the passages yourself. I think you get a good study out of it. Jesus, the apostles, and Satan shared a profile. All are urgent and all focused. And Satan's focused. And Satan's urgent. He's on it now. It's not tomorrow. He's trying to trick Anthony up today. He's trying to get Shantae today. And yes, he's intentional. He's all those things, but he's not going to waste an opportunity to trip you up, right? And it gets you. A lot of people forget what the true enemy is. You know, the truth is all the news, man. My goodness gracious, the last couple of weeks. With the shooting in Dallas, and then the shooting in Louisiana, then the police got killed in Dallas, and then the police were killed in Baton Rouge, and all the emotions that is brought in our society, and there's a time to get involved in as disciples and things that I don't think we should necessarily be excused, but it's a little process because we live on the planet, right? But having said all that, sometimes we can get caught up in it and forget what the real issue is. Because Satan is having a field day with people.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people can't pass laws or do things, have procedures to make things better, but people can't fix these kind of problems.
That's right.
Because Satan is having a field day with people. And Satan is urgent to jump in there and bitter hearts. And I thought I was man, just about the time people are maybe open about talking about some of the issues with African Americans and cops, the second shooting happened.
Yeah.
You know, Satan's happy about that, right? And any possibly a rational conversation went out the window, right? And there's more name calling and yelling and screaming, and it's your fault, it's whatever. It's whatever it is. Man, Satan's a liar, he's urgent, he's intense. And if you read the book of Acts, the success that disciples had in evangelizing and baptizing and the gospel is because they were equally intense and equally ready. And here's the thing, I want to live an abundant life. I think Christianity is a holistic thing. It's not just reading your Bible and praying and not taking care of your body and your mind and working. Because all of it's spiritual, right? It's not just that going to church is spiritual. If you're a disciple and you've given your whole life to God, all of it's spiritual. Okay, so work and school and your family and being the best in every situation and taking care of the temple, all that's a spiritual thing. Having said that, though, if you're living the life and really living the Lord, it's so good. It really is. But you got to give it back.
Yeah.
It's not meant for us to focus on us. We got to give it away. And we got to give it away with an urgency where that's what we're about. And when you see the disciples of Acts, they had that urgency. When you see Jesus in his words, Jesus was trying to evoke in them a sense of urgency. And when they weren't urgent, he set events off to help them get more focused, right? And you read Acts, and things kind of happen. They kind of push them along, right? Time to leave the city. Time to go on. All right. Here's how it works with people. This is how it works with a non-Christian friend. Let's say I'm let me pick on somebody. I'll pick on Anthony. I'm Anthony. I'm coming to church. Well, Anthony's Anthony. It's a true story. Anthony came to Bible Talk. And you came to Bible Talk because who invited you to Bible Talk? Hannah was coming to Bible Talk herself and was actually studying off and on then and invited Anthony to Bible Talk. And Anthony came to Bible Talk. And I guess you liked what you heard. He came back a few times. This is how it works. Whether Anthony realizes it worked this way or not, did something get you at some point and you're open. And you're thinking, maybe there's something worth investigating. Maybe there's something worth studying. And the truth of the matter is that window opens about this far, so about this long. And you know why they stay open any longer than that? Because there's someone whose job is to shut down windows. Okay, Okay, so about the time that Anthony said, man, this might be something here, Satan was like, let me get hold of that window. And who can I send in his life? What professor can I send? What situation can I send? What bed can I send? What girl can I put in this way to shut down that window? And fortunately, some disciples came in and were urgent, and the Zali's of the world, right? And these guys helped, and the EJs and the Jamals helped prop the window open. And Satan's trying to shut it, and they're putting the Bible in the window. And they just didn't study, they were urgent. They got together, and Zion was like, no, we're working together again. What's going on here? And he was like, oh, maybe that's weak. And I said, what are you doing tomorrow? No, why so urgent? Because we're just busy people. Because there's a sense that you understand that Satan's not going to stop. Satan's not going to stop. It's just not. There has to be a sense of urgency. It's not just if you're not urgent, he won't make it fast. He won't make it at all.
Right.
He won't make it at all.
That's right.
So look out for urgent. And that Bible pried that window open higher and higher, and Jesus climbed out. And there's your brother. It's a great story. And that's how a person with our Christian perspective. I can also give you some stories of people who haven't made it. And I don't know always who haven't made it, but I can tell you from the perspective of sometimes of us. I've known a few situations, and I'm not going to give you names, about people that seem pretty open, and we just didn't get back to them. And look, we're a little laid back about it. Yeah. Just like, we're eager, and we're like, yeah. So you get so and so, I didn't even ask them to study. And I got, make sure some study about, I set it up, and it's kind of on. And all of a sudden, when you do catch up to them, guess what happens? They're not that interested. Look, maybe the person wouldn't have made it anyway. I'm not God. But I do know this. A lot of times what happens is Satan gets in there and goes through the door. Because we're so caught up in our own lives that we lack the urgency and the intensity to understand. That person that came to church and they just smiled into it. And we're like, well, I don't want to ask them to study maybe next time. A whole lot of life's going to happen between that time and next time. Satan's not sitting back and saying, well, I'm going to let him come a few times. Satan's saying, how can I shut this down? How can I shut this out? How can I stop this from happening? What old boyfriend is it? What old person is it? What situation can happen? What can happen where the car breaks down in a couple of Sundays? What person can say something stupid to him on the way out of church to make him feel like they're if there's not a sense of urgency with the disciples, there's so many open people whose windows is closed. And I've got a concern, I think there's so many things about us, is that we can be so inward that we're not looking for opportunities with the proper window. With the Bible. And with love, and with prayer. And Jamal got baptized in May, and that was great. But here's the thing, Jamal wasn't any more open in May than he was in October. And he was really open in October. And the window would open up, and we would procrastinate and close. And we see him again, it would open a little bit, and so we would procrastinate and close. And finally, in April, it opened a little bit, and Sean Anthony put a Bible in, and so it opened up. And he got baptized. That's great. God bless him. Hope works out for him. The truth is, he could have gotten baptized earlier in the year and been a lot more equipped to leave. That's just the truth. He got baptized a week before leaving and graduating. He looked like Ethiopian unity, he goes to the Holy Spirit and God's Spirit. We get it. But I tell you what, he could have been a lot more equipped to leave. We dragged our feet. In his case, he got baptized, which is great. But many times the story didn't end that way. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's it in my mind from the standpoint of the person that's lost. From the standpoint of the person that's saved, though, there is a power in this life that we don't feel. unless we're involved in that process. There's something that you can't, there's something about this life, this Christian life. You know, when Jesus said, I'll be with you always at the end of the age, I know he's with us anyway. And I know when we do things, it's not about anybody's loss, he's still with us. But he says it because there's a special connectiveness that we have when we're out making disciples. And I'm telling you, the power, there is something about this life that's different when you're giving life. There's something different about it. And I think for many of us, it's been so long, we don't remember what it feels like, but it's like if you feel like there's something missing in your Christian life, I'm telling you, that's what it is. And we'll get the hunger back to give this thing away. You know, I'll tell you what part of it is. I just forget. I forget how lost I was. I forget how dark the world is. I forget how hopeless it is. And I know I don't think, but I do forget. I'm not in it. I forget how awesome the brothers are, how amazing the sisters are, for all of our flaws. I take for granted, I complain about it, and I'm marginalized. I forget how awesome God is, how great it is to be close to God, and how wonderful His life is. And I grumble about what's not happening, what God's not doing. Maybe this is just, maybe you guys are immune from all this stuff. No. And I forget, and there's something about when you get in there with somebody. I was, my mom's dying. She's been sick for a while, but there's no way around it. She's dying, she don't want to eat. She's in that phase right now. Right? So I've been incognito a lot, and a lot of that is consuming my time. And rightfully so. But, so I'm at the nursing home today. There was a big mistake that happened, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And I'm talking to Dawn, who does the administration there, and is helping a lot with Medicaid. And so we talked, and she shared a little bit that she had her husband passed away. But and I talked to her and been open. So this time she started sharing. And I'm telling you, I've already been in the hospital about an hour. I'm trying to get out because I got things to do. We got one car, Michelle's car broke down 3 days ago, so I'm daddy, preacher, taxi cab driver right now. Mm-hmm. And so I got to pick up Kenya from her thing. So she starts talking, and she would not let me out of her office. Mm-hmm. And she's sharing about her brother dying, her husband dying, and how the in-laws would just mistreated her, her stepchildren, her eyes are tearing up. And she's sharing, and I get a chance to share something too. And you could just see in that conversation. I had to get out of there. I had to leave. It's important. Let me tell you how deep it got. She was having the phone ring for work, and kept saying, "I'm in an appointment." Well, I'm in an appointment. Calling, I'm in an appointment. Person waiting out with her. I'm in an appointment. Talking about her life. I'm sharing things that help. And you just see that window opening up. I'll tell you what else it did. I felt so alive. Mm-hmm. Because what she was sharing, I go through hard things, you go through hard things. But it's not like what she's going through. Because what I have, she doesn't have. And I'm going through some stuff, and she's going through some stuff, but it's not the same. It's just not. And staying in the office, there's a power that I have, and a feeling that I have that you don't get unless you're giving it away. Right. You just don't get it. So I decided, well, we got to get a Bible so we can practice things. So I'm going to talk to Dawn tomorrow. I'm going to go by there tomorrow, and I'm going to see if she's open to having a study there at the facility. It's a long moment. I think for her, we want to find it in the church, right? And I don't know what God's going to do with it. Mm-hmm. But we're going to get the opportunity for God to do something with it. But the flip side of it, maybe the selfish side of it, in a good way, what it does for me. Because I need it. I get in my car, and my whole life is different, although nothing's changed. And I feel like that's the missing ingredient. Can I be real? That's what's missing in your household, my household, and in our life, and our singles ministry. That's what's missing at seminars. And I'm glad about all the classes. But this was more of a us focus and less of a them focus. And all that's not bad, but if we're not engaged in genuine way, it becomes a trap. Does that make sense? Yeah. It becomes a trap. There's 7 billion people in the world. I don't care what kind of math you're doing, not a lot of more disciples. Still 1.3 million people in this problem. I don't care what slide we're using. It's not a ton of them. I don't think we're the only disciples in Birmingham, but I don't think there's a ton of disciples in Birmingham. Be different city. Okay. And so obviously people need us. In our campus, our singles, there is something that happens. There's a joy that happens. There is a power that happens in your life, in my life. There's a fulfillment that happens. And I think there's a level of blessing there. And sometimes religious people have terminology that we use that I really think we avoid using because it's so common. Maybe it's just me. I grew up in a religious environment. I tend to avoid things like call. For many years, I wouldn't say the term call. I was called to ministry. I think it's the best description of what it is, right? And I think the concept of a favor and blessing, you don't talk about a lot. It sounds so religious or whatever, but you know, it's we don't talk about it to our detriment because it's biblical, right? Everything that's religious ain't bad, right?
Right.
And you know, and maybe it's not necessarily the biblical all the ways it's used and all this. I'm not going there, but sometimes we're trying to avoid something that's unbiblical. We don't embrace what is biblical, and there is my prayer for Felicity and for Doreen and for Shantae and for Abby, for Kenya, for Jacqueline, for EJ, for Jay, for Christian, for Jamal, for Ginger, for Christian. I might as well throw a room there. I'm listening for Wanda, for Toya, for Faye. Everybody.
Roll call.
Anybody ask me, who's kicking my purpose? My prayer for everybody is, you know, it's not that you get that emotion or that this happens or you find that girl or find that guy or this happens. Is that we live in God's faith. That we live under God's blessing. And there's a power in that happens when we are giving ourselves away. That's a principle in 2 Corinthians 9 where it says, you know, I'm going to butcher this passage, but the principle is you'll be given as you give, right? Yeah. And it's talking about money specifically, but it's bigger than that. You never got to give God, and I think that we cheat ourselves because we get so focused on our problems, and so focused on what's going on, so focused on what we want from God, so focused on what we need, so focused on trying to be there for each other, which is good. It's a good thing. And so focused on all the situations, and we're not giving away. The doors are open and closing in front of us all the time. I can think of 15 people that come to church in the last 6 months, and very few of them we were urgent about getting through the doors. Well, it's sad. But it's not just sad for them. It's sad for us. Mm-hmm. Because it's something they didn't need from us, but it's something that and the joy and the abundance and the life that we want is through those doors. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let me get some feedback.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sign about how to turn it on. I didn't bother to do it. We're going to see turn manual timer located on the wall bar 45.
Yeah.
All the way to the right. It's too late now. We're going to
No, we opened the door because it was just loud. That's pretty
but next time we'll read the sign. Because I forgot that there was a sign to turn the AC on. Yeah. I don't read those. I'm sorry. Any feedback?
Very specific and very encouraging, and it actually made me think about siblings because the thing was reach, but it was reach up, reach in, and then reach out. Because they gave us a lot, but they really talked about it. You can't just keep it for yourself. You
That's
gotta
what I
give
heard.
back.
Yeah.
So everything that you said, just it brought that home.
Good.
It made me think about windows with not just, well, I thought about windows that I saw, just one though, in Mississippi, but I didn't really go out that place. But it also made me think about windows with my brothers and sisters, where, like, you know, like the Bible says, if your, brother or sister is caught in sin, restore them gently. I feel like there are, when you are restoring gently, people gently, there are windows there as well. And you can't force those windows closed by your behavior or like how you approach them and things like that. And so I think this is very, it was enlightening.
I think you're right. I think sometimes when we have something that's struggling around with the opportunity to open help. But I also think if you get a Bible stuck up in there, bringing someone along, and I know it sounds trite, but it's true. If I could grab every brother that's struggling, and have them sit down, I think with William Mason, we go to his house and stuff, instead of him, and it's changed from an individual study to more of a Bible talk because his sister and his brother-in-law sitting and stuff. So we actually go study the Bible with him as a group.
Yes.
There's no other way to do it. But if I could bring every brother that's struggling into that thing, it changes. And sometimes we always think fixing by going in.
Yeah.
But sometimes you fix more by getting someone out. And obviously you got to do triage, one-on-one, get the Bible put in there. But then, and I forget the bleeding stop is like, hey, bro, what are you doing now? I'm going to so-and-so's house, man. What are you going to try to do? Why don't you come with me? And I'm telling you, that experience will prop that window wide open in a way that a million talks.
Amen.
So, anybody else? Well, that's good. I mean, it's the most profound thing in the world. You got to fall asleep. Anybody else? Any feedback, comments, questions? It's hot getting out here. Yeah. Jamal, you kind of.
You just made me think about a experience I had with and I don't remember every detail of it, but the experience I had with I met this man in the gym. We were both sitting in the steam room and Danetta laughing because you know that's my spot.
No, I want to put him on to this thing room.
Man,
Tell the whole truth.
I can't even relate. So I never been in a steam room. I see him, but I walk by.
You got to sit in there sometimes, man.
That's
But anyway, there was a guy in there, and older man, and his spirit just moved me to really say something. I said, sir, I'm not sure if you're part of the church here, but part of what's called HavenRock, great ministry, and just explain to him, where we were, and I could see in his face that he was like, listen, I really don't want to hear it. And so I asked him, I was like, so are you affiliated in church? Are a part of any type of ministry, or what's on your mind? And he really went off, really talking about really just he had a really negative view toward church and Christianity, and he really hated it because he promoted homosexuality, and even, I don't know if he was, but just the homosexuality, the homosexual marriage, and all these things, and so and he explained about how do you think you all could shut out homosexuality when this is something that people they were born this way, and this that, and I said, well, sir, it's really it's sin, regardless of whether it's homosexuality, or if it's fornication, or if it's lying or cheating or stealing or whatever, it's all sin, and sin in itself is destructive. So, and it's the same, homosexuality is destructive to mankind. He didn't want to do that. So, yeah, but we went on, and he went off into some other type of excuse. And, oh yeah, talking about choice, I think. Somehow we got on the subject of choice. I can't remember what to say, but it was empowering just to have that conversation.
Yeah, just have that.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Look, I'm gonna pray and let us go, and I'm curious if we'll stick on fellowship with you. Next time we'll read the instructions about the AC. I want to pray. Heavenly Father, God, thank you so much for everybody's here, for the hearts, and for all the disciples that are in the church. God, we just pray to love one another, love you, God, and the love of the lost, and we're looking for opportunities to give away you and be urgent and focused and patience to God. We know it's a blessing there for the people who need it. It's a blessing there for us. Help us to have your love and your urgency and intensity. Help us understand that the real battle in our society is much bigger than black or white, or police versus civilian, or Trump versus Hillary Clinton. But it's a lost world.
Yeah.
Searching for answers. We're blind men crawling in the dark. And the only light is you. And I pray that we keep the light in more lives. Heavenly Father, we pray this in your name, in your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
My back is sweaty and I snapped, so I can't go.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, I know that was coming back.
You guys work that on?
No, look, real food, yeah.
What you gotta say, Jack?
Nah, just hear a little bit of. I'm just saying, go ahead, do your thing. Let me stop this, devil.